This entire track was created using just one TB303, and I'm going to show you how. Here's where we start, where it all began, a TB303. We want to get some drums out of this. So how are we going to do that? So the name of the game is making noise, and a lot of it. So what we'll do is take this signal and split it. And we're going to go into some reverb, just some kind of distortion. I have a low bit rate bit crusher, back into some reverb, and then some compression, just to make sure that everything gets glued together. I went ahead and made sure that it was hard center, mono signal, and now we'll want to control everything by routing it 1,000 different directions and then automating it. So we have this low pass filter automated with quite a bit of resonance, admittedly. So this is the automation for that. It's just the low pass filter starting off at a higher frequency, dipping down to a lower. This is the volume automation on our mixer. Same deal with the snare. It's the exact same, but just starts at a different point. So here is our snare automation right here. That's the output level. And here is for the low pass filter. And you notice it's just a little bit higher up. To get some snappiness on the snare, I've added just a little bit of bit crusher. And something I think is really important is the pulsar delay here. Whenever you have something like a clap, essentially what's making that sound is all the hands coming together at different points in time. Pretty close to where it sounds like one. I have all of these set down to no sync and just set off by some random different milliseconds. Everything's set to taste, and this is on an aux send because that makes it simple. So now our snare is a little bit more wide. Lastly, our hi-hats. I've noticed that a lot of cymbal signals have differences in their frequency response based on how they're hit. I'm not going to program all that mess. So either a stereo detune that's set to a really wide sound, even a flanger if you end up taking the speed somewhere about in the middle and take the feedback and depth all the way down, kind of play with the milliseconds on the delay, you can get an okay sounding replica of that. And same deal, high pass filter being automated, another filter just to kind of clean up some of the noise, and a volume automation. That's really all there is to subtractive drums. Then I have some reverb put in that's going to give it a little bit more room. Now everything for tonal elements. Creating things like bass lines, chord progressions, arpeggiators, leads is going to be a lot simpler of a task than you'd imagine here. Everything's just going to end up coming through the splitter and going into a Helmholtz. So I can automate the notes on this if you just left click and automate parameter, and then you just program it in for whatever you need. Essentially every other element is just going through and adding effects because that's how you would do any bit of music out of sound design. Now, of course, the real track that I sent through for the competition is far better than this, but this essentially gets all the ideas across. It's much easier on my computer, so let's enjoy the real track here for a bit. Well, thank you, Audiotool, for choosing my track for 303 Day 2023.